the greatest gift that you can offer the world is being yourself. The world wants nothing other than that from you.
Yeah.
And in that, it's like purpose and mission. Your purpose is to know yourself, and that automatically you share yourself with the world, which is your mission. So just by knowing yourself, you share yourself.
Yeah.
And that's all the world wants. That's all our kids want from us, our wife wants from us, our friends, our family. They just want us to be ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that, you radiate this peace and emptiness, happiness, wholeness, emptiness. And they're like, what do you have something, Keith. And I want what you have. And all you're thinking is, I've emptied myself. I don't have anything. What you want is emptiness.
Yeah. Freedom. Freedom from you.
Yeah. Freedom from your egoic mind.
Yeah.
It's not freedom for your mind, it's freedom from your mind. And the ego can't get out of itself.
Yeah.
It will play the games, it will get close, but it won't take the last step. It will never ever take the last step because it itself is the step. So it arises as a thought, the I thought, which is, again, Ramana Maharshi terms. I'm not sure how much. So it's a thought trying to get out of a thought. It will never unthought itself.
Yeah.
Utilizing Ramana's terms too is an ego is likened to a thief who turns itself into a policeman to catch the thief that's nothing other than itself. It's just an infinite loop.
Yeah.
That's why it won't just get out of itself just to do so. I mean, there has to be an apparent effort that's made.
Emotions arise, and it's like, well, why? Why am I offended? Why am I mad? Why am I happy? All of that. Question everything, really.
The why questions, as long as they're turning you back into yourself, are valid.
Yeah.
Just be careful, because most why questions want to spin you away from yourself.
Yeah.
You can't answer why. It's going back to my original comment. You can't know. You can't know anything. So let it be as it is.
Yeah.
Right? You're just, whatever arises within you, whatever happens in the manifestation, in your situations, it's just letting that be as it is.
Yeah.
Because it's perfectly happening as that.
Yeah.
And the moment you try to judge it in any way, you suffer. So you already are this, what you already are as it is, and you're just letting everything else be as you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So simple.
So drop the why. Drop the why questions. Just let everything be.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. So easy.
Just allow it to be as you have been conditioned to believe you think it is. So we're all, we're dumb, we're ignorant, whatever. It's whatever. Because we're all conditioned differently to hear and try to understand this message. And so due to our conditioning, we're going to judge it. We're all going to judge it different, put different names on it. Just let it be that. Just love it for that. Love yourself for letting it be that.
Yeah.
It's
good.
This is all about love. This is about universal love.
Yeah.
Where there's no more preferences anymore. You don't like one thing more than the other. It just all is as it is. I don't know if you've got, kids, friends, parents. I mean, you don't like one parent better than the other anymore. I don't love my kids any more than the neighbor's kids. It's just because that's the experience here. And that's
cool.
That's a big deal, right? It's like, what do you mean you don't love your kids more than any other kid? Well, because that leads to suffering.
Yeah, I've talked to several people, and that was one thing a guy told me. It was like, you got to let them go too, your wife and kids. Yep. You got to let them go too.
Yep.
And I conceptually understand that. Yeah.
Well, and in that same breath, I would add, as you let them go, you're letting the concept go. Your relationship with them actually becomes more intimate. Like they become yourself, which is way more powerful and intimate and loving than having a concept that I'm a father. That has no validity.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is the ego that makes the attempt. It is the ego that turns within. Okay, so there's only two real meaningful decisions we can make in our life. That's either to turn out or turn in. And the ego does both of those. So at first, it is an egoic action that does this. But it's the ego turning around onto its source of self. Because everything rises out of self, even the apparent ego. So when you ask with the question, who am I? You're asking the ego to go home and find its source of itself. That's when you can use your attention to follow the ego back into the infiniteness of being. So that's why you hear a lot of people say, you just ask the question, who am I, once or twice. The ego you will sense like it's going somewhere within. Like there's a sensation of that. And you can follow it back to the source of being. And once your attention's there, the trick or what you're trying to do is hold your attention there. But remember, there's nothing there. It's not an object anymore. It's an experience. And at first, you might be there and not even know you're there. And because you're refamiliarizing yourself with yourself. So it may take many attempts to go, oh, that place that I can't describe, that just is, that's it.
Yeah.
And so you're turning there and you're abiding in self. The more you do that, the more the vasanas die down and your self rises.
Yeah. I get a sense of I think I get a sense of that because sometimes, I'll get up from sitting and it's like, man, it's like I've almost kind of woke up. Like I knew I was awake, but it feels like I woke up and there's this, I don't know, it feels different. It feels like I was somewhere without being anywhere. I think it's what you're maybe pointing to. Yeah. This feels like a deep rest, kind of.
This is, I think that video that you watched, that I talk about Mana Leia and Mana Nasa.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mana Leia is Mana is mind and Leia is temporary subsidence. So temporary subsidence of mind. We all experience that when we fall asleep at night.
Mm.
Okay. The ego falls asleep, and when it comes to the next morning, it just picks right back up where it left off. There's no change to that. Mana Nasa it's a conscious sleep, because you're turning your attention back onto its source. So Mana Leia is subsidence. Mana Nasa is abidance.
Mm.
Okay? And it's in that abidance where Nasa comes in. Destruction.
Mm.
Mind elimination. And that's what's permanent. This creates permanent. That's why you're heading towards permanent peace and happiness. And the reason is because you're destroying your mind. Your egoic mind. Your egoic mind. Not the universal mind. Okay?
Right.
You're destroying the thing up here that's created all the havoc. The whole reason you're here right now is because of this thing.
Yeah.
And when this subsides, you experience peace and happiness. So, if you find yourself dozing off in more of a sleep-like state, just become aware of that. It's okay. I still do it. It still happens. You want to have conscious sleep because you're turning your attention back onto consciousness or awareness. So
yeah.
you're aware that you're aware. There's only one path home because there's only one you. So it has to be an absolute path. It can't. There's many paths to the one. It's like a funnel. All these funneling things, but at the end, there's only one slot that takes you back to the one. And it's like you have to eliminate all of these paths in the funnel, all of our identifications, all of our attachments, before you get to that opening of that one slot that just goes. And you can, I would say, you can come in and out of that slot. So in self-inquiry, you'll get to a place where you slip in there and you're like, this is it. And yet it brings you back out. And you don't have control over that, because the moment you make an effort, it's going to bring you out. And when you're in, you're effortless. There's no entity there that can do anything anymore. You're at the grace of God then. Only grace can grab you and hold you there. So you're just getting there, and it is Him, Brahman, Father, Buddha, makes the final devourer.
That's the mystery, isn't it?